These inexpensive bookcases can look a little dull, but a little personalization can go a long way. I've got some easy ideas on how to spruce them up coming up next. Even an inexpensive bookcase like this can be updated, upgraded, and personalized with a little help from wrapping paper. Use a pair of pliers to remove the staples or brads that are holding the thin back panel onto the back of the bookcase. Lay the panel down flat, and then choose some paper that complements your room to cover the panel. Depending upon the width of the bookcase, you'll either want to run the paper across the width of each shelf in strips, or if your paper is the same width as your bookcase, you can run the paper vertically right down the panel. Use some spray adhesive to adhere the wrapping paper to the backing. A craft knife will make short work of removing any excess pieces from the edges. Now all you have to do is reattach the back with some small brads or a staple gun. All you have to do is put your shelves back in place and you're all set. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. If you routinely get things dry cleaned, then you probably have noticed the dry cleaning cast-offs. Well, reuse them. I'll show you how coming up next. When you pick up your clothes from the dry cleaner, you end up with plastic bags, wire hangers, and twist ties. But guess what? You can reuse those. Kids tend to use too much toilet paper. Well, a wire hanger can help loosen that buildup in a toilet so that it can flush without overflowing. Pull a plastic bag over your hand and grab the hanger. Use the hanger to loosen the clog, and then pull the bag over your hanger and tie it off. No muss, no fuss. If you find clothes are clinging to you from static buildup, wire hangers can help. Simply rub the hanger over the clothes and the static will transfer to the hanger and your clothes will be static free. Use a pair of wire cutters to cut a straight piece of hanger. Pair it with one of those twist ties to stake a plant and help it grow straight. Twist ties are also handy for keeping your cell phones and music player cords wound and organized in a drawer. Keep the plastic bags that cover your clothes with your painting supplies. They're perfect for draping lamps and other furniture to protect them from paint splatters while you work. But they also make a nice buffer when packing fragile items. Wrap the bag around curved or indented areas to fill them, and then pack the item with additional bags to fill the box. The wrapped bags will add strength to the vulnerable areas. Dry cleaning cast-offs proved useful. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. If your kids like to hang posters and artwork on their walls, give them a spot to hang their artwork and save your walls. I'll tell you more coming up next. I saw this little artist display at a local discount store, but it was still over $12, and I figured with some scrap wood, some clothespins, and some acrylic paint, I could make 10 of these for $12. Paint the scrap wood and clothespins in whatever pattern would suit the child. The wood doesn't need to be any particular size. Whatever you've got, as long as it will hold a piece of paper, will do. Once the elements have dried, add some sawtooth hangers to the back side of the board so you can hang it when it's done. Use a good quality glue to secure the clothespins in place along the entire length of the wood, and think of a standard piece of paper when you're deciding on the placement. Let the glue dry and all you've got left to do is add some artwork. Instead of spending over $12, you can make this one with things that you have around your home. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. You can pick up these glass pebbles at just about any craft store or discount store. But what are they useful for beyond flower arranging? Well, I'll fill you in coming up next. I picked up these glass pebbles at a local discount store. I needed them for a flower arrangement. But then I started looking at them and thinking there are so many other great uses for them. Fill the bottom of a hurricane with the pebbles to hold a candle so it doesn't tip in the holder and it burns evenly. Fill a soap dish with the pebbles and it will help the water drain off the soap so it dries faster and lasts longer. A similar filled dish in the kitchen is the perfect spot to set sponges or steel wool so it can drain off and dry quickly. Use a hot glue gun to cover a plain glass jar with the pebbles to make a one-of-a-kind vase for your home. This started out as a jar of salsa. Can you believe it? They can also really dress up and personalize a plain Jane picture frame. Just glue some pebbles around the frame to add a pop of color and really make your picture shine. A word of advice, if you have little kids in your house, don't use the pebbles anywhere where their little hands can reach. They look a little like candy. I hope these ideas inspire you to pick up some pebbles and use them around your home. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. Do you have problems with storage in your bathroom? Just not enough space? Well, I have some ideas to help you out coming up next. Bathrooms are notoriously short on storage space, so if you're looking for more space in your bathroom, I have some ideas for you. If you want to replace your current sink or vanity, look for a new one with storage options. These tip-out drawers don't hold a lot, but they do keep essentials right at hand, so you don't need to dig through a drawer to find them. I also like the option of drawers and shelves on the inside. It makes great use of cabinet space. If you have a larger bathroom, think about a piece of furniture as a storage piece. You can use an armoire, a dresser, or even a china cabinet like this one to hold soaps, towels, and other bathroom essentials. Small space? Try a tiered plant stand to hold extra towels or toilet paper. Add towel bars to the side of a vanity cabinet for added storage. But if you're limited on space, you might want to choose hooks rather than towel bars because they can be used for towels, but also robes, hair dryers, and other necessary bathroom items. Smart storage for any bathroom. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. Spill some yogurt, ice cream, or milk? Well, those stains are nearly impossible to get out of your clothes once they dry. But I have some tips for you on how to remove them coming up next. Speed is the key to removing any milk-based stains. Now I'm talking ice cream, yogurt, milk, or any other dairy concoctions. The first step, no matter where you are, cold water. Rinsing the entire stain with cold water will work it out of the fabric and keep it from setting. Whenever possible, work from the reverse side of the fabric because if the spill is on the surface, it's easier to rinse it from the back side. Once you've rinsed it thoroughly, pre-treat. Milk is a protein-based stain, so you want a treater that can break up proteins and whisk away fats and oils. My all-around favorite? Shampoo. Use an old toothbrush to work some shampoo from the back of the fabric into the stain. The toothbrush will help push the stain from the fibers, and working from the back, you'll be sure not to damage the fabric by rubbing it too hard. A little bonus, the shampoo will also treat coffee and chocolate stains, so you're set for those ice cream lattes and chocolate milk messes. Let the pre-treat sit for about an hour or so, and then launder the item in cold water. Be sure to check that the stain was removed before you toss it into the dryer. I hope that helps you eliminate your milky stains. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. A marble paint technique can give your project an elegant look, and it's so easy to do. I'll show you how coming up next. I love the elegant look of marble, and I figured out how to recreate it with a faux finish on some of my projects. I'll show you how easy it is to do. For green marble, start by painting a black base coat. The key to marble is to recreate the color variations that you see in the natural stone, as well as the veining that gives marble its distinctive look. To get the variation, dip a damp sea sponge into each of the colors and dab it onto your project. Continue adding paint, making sure that your color varies in depth and shade, just like the natural stone. A piece of scrap paper on the side is a handy spot to dab and mix the colors. A clean cloth will help dab away excess paint from the project. Then allow the paint to dry completely. To add the veining, you can use a detail brush or a feather. Use the lightest shade of paint mixed with some white or gray. Dip the brush or feather into some water and then some paint. Then, using a light hand, work veining lines over the surface of the paint. Then branch off from your main lines with lighter paint. Once the piece is completely dry, give it a coat of polyurethane so it has that look of real marble. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. If you're not a fan of heavy chemical air fresheners, I have some great natural alternatives for you that don't cost much money to make. I'll show you how coming up next. We all want a house that smells fresh and clean, but if you don't want to use chemical air fresheners, I have some great natural alternatives. Essential oils are natural oils extracted from various plants. Their scents have known mood-enhancing effects. Rosemary and lavender are calming. Lemon and peppermint are invigorating. To use these oils in your home, you can buy a reed diffuser or try making your own. Pour some essential oil into a pretty jar or vase. Place 3 or 4 bamboo skewers in a jar, and you've got a homemade reed diffuser to freshen your home. Be careful not to place the diffuser on wooden furniture or within the reach of children. It's not safe to touch or drink, and if it spills on wood furniture, it can strip the finish. Another take on natural air fresheners, fill a saucepan about halfway with water. Add some cinnamon, oranges, and lemons. Bring the mixture to a slow simmer on your stovetop and let it steep there in the simmering water for several hours. Not only will this release a wonderful fresh scent into the house, but if your air in your home is dry, the slow simmer will add much needed moisture into the air to help your air quality in your home as well as the freshness. I hope these ideas help you freshen your home naturally. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. You don't need to spend a ton of money to make accessories have a big pop in a room. All you need is to switch out the color. I'll show you how it's done coming up next. Take a color cue, grab some colorful fabric and accessories from other rooms, and group them together for a big impact, low-cost decorating solution. If you have light-colored upholstered furniture, bright or deep-colored throws and pillows can transform those neutral pieces into a focal point for a room. If you don't have a deep color throw and you plan on using it only for decorative purposes, use a curtain panel instead. Forget the ho-hum neutral throws and carpets and opt for something with a pop of color instead. It'll anchor the area and draw people into the room. Group odd numbers of light-colored accessories together, and suddenly they have a purpose and make a bigger statement than if they were just separate in different areas of the house. Tassels can add a pop of color and whimsy all over the house. Hang them on lamp switches, light fixtures, and picture frames. The nice thing about accessorizing your home this way is that you can change out your things when the mood strikes, and it won't cost you a dime. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. Orange cleaners cut through dirt and grease, and they leave your house smelling fresh and clean, but they can be rather expensive. Well, I'll show you a home recipe that costs next to nothing coming up next. Do you eat oranges? If you do, save the peels because it makes a great all-purpose cleaner. I'll show you how easy it is to make. First, if you plan on using your oranges for cleaning, it's a good idea to clean them before you peel them. Some baking soda mixed with warm water will remove any chemicals or residue from the orange. Then, as you peel your oranges, put the peels in a glass jar and cover them with white vinegar. Don't feel like you need to eat a ton of oranges all at once. Just stash the peels in the jar whenever you eat an orange. You want the concoction to sit for a couple of weeks so the oils from the orange peels release into the vinegar. Each time you add more peels, shake the jar a little to mix it up. Once it's been sitting for a couple of weeks, fill a spray bottle halfway with the orange vinegar and half with water. You can use this spray for everything from sinks to toilets and even glass and wood furniture. Just spray it on and wipe it off with a clean cloth. This natural homemade cleaner will help keep your home clean and healthy. Aren't you glad that you watched today? I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. A hammer seems like a pretty straightforward tool, but it can be dangerous. Well, I have some safety tips for you coming up next. Did you know that more than 50,000 people end up in a hospital every year due to hammer injuries? Well, I have some tips to keep you safe while you're hammering. First, make sure you choose the right hammer for the job. Just like you wouldn't use a big sledgehammer to hang a picture, don't use a small lightweight hammer to drive heavy nails. Inspect your hammer. Before you use it, check to be sure that the head isn't loose, that the handle is intact, and that the face isn't worn or damaged. Always wear safety glasses when using a hammer. Pieces of nails, shards of wood, and other material can fly off when you strike the hammer and land right in your eye. Next, the grip. It may seem like holding the hammer near the head will give you more control, but it actually won't. When you hold a hammer, think about a handshake. The base of the hammer is the hand, and the rest of the hammer is the arm. Grab the base of the hammer in a firm handshake, and you're set to go. When you're swinging a hammer, use your arm, not your wrist. This will give the hammer the force it needs to drive the nail straight and steady. Follow these tips, and you'll be safer working on your home projects. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple. Kids' toys inevitably get dirty and covered with germs. We'll have some tips for cleaning and sanitizing them coming up next. Kids are germy. There's no way around it. Their toys get dirty and germy too. Well, periodically, it's good to clean and sanitize them. I'll show you a few easy steps on how to do just that. The first step is basic washing. Use hot soapy water to wash the toys. A toothbrush can help you get into all the little crevices. Rinse the toys with hot water and set them aside. Once they're all clean, drain and rinse the sink, and then fill it with hot water and add either bleach or white vinegar to the water. The amount will vary depending on the size of the sink. Figure a tablespoon of bleach per gallon of water or a cup of white vinegar per gallon. Submerge the toys in the sanitizing solution and leave them to soak for 10 minutes. When the time has passed, drain the sink and rinse the toys again. Then allow them to air dry. For soft toys and stuffed animals, slip them into a lingerie bag or a pillowcase and run them through a laundry cycle with hot water. Let the toys air dry and then put them in the hot dryer for 5 minutes to fluff them back up. The hot water and the hot air from the dryer will clean and fluff these guys right back up. I'm Mrs. Fix-It, and it's just that simple.